Hello, welcome to the Young and Single series. My name is Hannah and I'm excited once again as we share and learn things that will help us become better versions of ourselves. And most importantly, our lives will be pleasing to God in all areas. The Young and Single series has been going on with great lessons and teachings that are packaged to help the young and married one who is still in that phase of young adulthood and about to leave the adolescent phase and is still learning the necessary things that he or she needs to make his young and single years very fruitful and very effective. Today we want to look at an interesting topic, and we'll be talking about the need to relate. The need to relate. In our past videos, we have learned quite a couple of interesting topics. And among the various topics we talked about in the last couple of weeks, we talked about dating a special person. And this has to do with that person called you. We talked about signs that you must look out for in a dating relationship. We talked about maximizing your dating experience. We talked about things that you need to know and do once you follow or you feel that these signs are more than you can handle in that relationship. And we talked about the need to break up. We also addressed, most importantly, the consequences of a breakup. Today we want to completely move to a new topic which is still linked to the past series, but it's completely new. And this topic is important because once we understand this, which is our ability to relate with each other, it will make every area of our life yield maximally like God intended it to. So today, what are we looking at? Our topic is the need to relate. The need to relate. We want to find out why we need to relate and how we can relate properly and effectively. Now you will find out that there are different types of relationships. We have intimate and casual relationships. Everybody has a network that you find yourself in consciously and unconsciously. We are born to parents, we are born into families, so there is always a linkage between a child, a parent, grandparent, cousins, and then the family tree becomes bigger. These are intimate relationships, husband and wife, children, and then the extended family. Then we have casual relationships, friends, classmates, school colleagues. Then we have acquaintances, people we meet on our way to work, the taxi driver, the Uber driver, the bus conductor, our drivers, our house helps, who are sent to us weekly, monthly. Then we also have sometimes faceless relationships and face-to-face relationships. So these are all different levels of relationships. Today in the social media world we find ourselves, there are so many faceless relationships. You find yourself linking up on the various social networks with people you have never met before. You send broadcast messages, you receive broadcast messages to people you have no idea who they are. These are all faceless relationships, but they are very important because they are forming part of your wealth. You find your life impacting people through social media, through your videos, through your messages, through your books. Yet you may never see the people behind the screens, or those watching in their rooms, those watching behind their phones. These various relationships exist and we need to know and maximize it. Face-to-face relationships have to do with the people that we meet on our daily basis. I can see you, you can see me, you can see my facial expressions, you can hear my voice, and you can know exactly what I'm trying to communicate. Now, with these various types of relationships, it's important to know that relationships are necessary and important. We were born and built and created with a need to relate. And normally relationships begin with an encounter. I watched a video and I liked it and I get hooked on, and I'm following somebody online and listening to the person either through YouTube or by radio. Then there is a relationship, whether it's faceless or it's face-to-face. Now these relationships grow based on the level of interactions we get and what we are willing to put into it. Now these various categories of relationships change as we grow. So you could start with an intimate relationship with people like parents and siblings. These cannot change. You can't change your parents, you can't change your siblings. But you can meet classmates who begin as acquaintances, and then eventually they become people who become part of your inner crowd, your inner caucus. These are people who become part of you. Some of you become so close that the scripture becomes so alive. There's a friend that sticks closer than a brother. You will find there are friends who are closer than even siblings. Now, in building healthy relationships, what are the factors that we need to consider? One, in building healthy relationships, one, accept that we are different. God created us uniquely. God created us with different capacities, skills, and potentials. Now, our skills and potentials are sharpened. Our potentials we come into the world with, but our skills are sharpened by our training, our exposure, and our experiences. And so you find out that you meet an acquaintance, a friend, who knows ABC, EFJ, because he found himself in an environment that sharpened his skill. You find people with different temperaments and different, personality traits because of their upbringing, their environment, their nation. You find people who are Christians, born again, who understand what it means to live the life of Christ fully based on their level and knowledge of God's way. So it is important that you accept in any relationship that we are different. People don't come from the same environment, don't have the same knowledge, don't have the same information per time. Also, it's important, in addition, to become accepting. Accept the people God brings your way. As acquaintances, as classmates, you don't know who they will be. I have a sister today whom I met the first day I entered my university class. I'd never known her before, I'd never seen her before, but years down the line she has become like a sister that I really never had, and we enjoy a good relationship. So it's good to become very accepting. Be friendly. Learn to be nice by smiling irrespective of the cruel nature of the person you may be dealing with per time. You may meet people who may be acquaintances, classmates, and they may not be too friendly. But because you know the importance of the need to relate, learn to be friendly. I have a sister who loves giving hugs. Her hugs have a way of melting even the cruel hearts. I don't know how she does it, but she just gives people warm bear hugs, and it has a way of making people warm up to her. We call her sunshine. Indeed, she is a sunshine. Many people want people to love them, but they don't know how to relate. They haven't learned how to relate. In relating, it's also important that you be fair. Some people are biased in relating. They choose and pick whom they think fits their category of friends. When you are young, you have no idea of being able to predict who will be who and who will be where 10 years or 20 years from now. We have heard the adage that 20 children don't play together for 20 years. And because of that, it's so important that the people you meet today relate to them properly, because you would need these same people tomorrow in different capacities. You would be surprised. I met people who were bank managers who helped me because I had been nice to them when they were Sunday school children. I have also met people who were nice to me because my father taught them when they were students. So you don't know who you will meet where. Be fair. It's important I make this point too. Be firm in your relationships. Some people are not firm in their relationships. That way, the stronger-willed partner has a way of controlling the relationship and dictating how the relationship goes. They become domineering, they override the relationship, and they decide how it must go. When it becomes overbearing, you realize that this relationship is no longer being healthy. So be firm in your relationships. And as much as you don't have to make everybody your friend, it pays to be nice to everybody. The people whom you consider as not in your class, the foot soldiers, are the people who will show you where to hide from the enemy. In addition, the people whom you may feel are of a particular, demeanor, they are not smiling, may have a need or may be suffering from something that you will be the one to bring solution to. In learning to relate, it's important to create a humorous environment. I met a young boy in one of my outreaches on campus, and that boy just had humor all around him. I mean, every statement had a way of making you laugh. Initially, it was irritating, but I realized he had done it so much, it had become a secondary nature. He just had a way of lightening the atmosphere by cracking the right jokes, by saying things that were complimentary, and even when he was offended, he had a way of shrugging off the effects of that negative pain. So be willing to laugh at yourself when you make a mistake. That way, it's easy to laugh when others do something to you. Some of the young ones don't know how to laugh at themselves. They can't even laugh. I mean, if I tell you, okay, give me a smile, some struggle to smile, let alone laugh, you realize that they haven't learned how to relate to people properly. Now, in relating, it's also important to be considerate and thoughtful. It is very important. You don't know what somebody is struggling with or somebody is going through. So you may find somebody who is not smiling, or it's not actually as lively as you would have expected. Unknown to you, that person may be dealing with bad news, a challenge, or a problem. There was a young boy who made a call to a friend, expecting the friend to be very nice, and was wondering, today my friend was very cold on the phone. What he didn't know was that friend had just lost a parent, and that friend was struggling with coming to terms of that loss. And he wanted to be jovial and crack jokes at such a wrong time. So it's always important to be considerate and thoughtful when you are learning to relate to people. I would want to add, show concern for people but exhibit detachment. Meaning, offer good to people, but don't be upset when they choose the other way. Some people don't want you as friends. And I learned from one of my sisters the hard way that we outgrow friends. You may meet people who were very good friends when you were younger, but you find out that when you become youthful, you outgrow some of them. When you pass the singles phase, you get married, you outgrow them. You get into another level of maturity, midlife, you outgrow them. There are some friends that remain friends forever. There are some people who have built secondary school networks and they've maintained it years down the line. Praise God for those ones. It's very important to keep healthy networks. And in all your relationships, speak less and listen more. Nature gave us one tongue and 2 ears, so we will hear as much as we speak. Psalm 62 verse 11 says, God has spoken once, twice have I heard that all power belongs to God. Proverbs 15:3 says, a merry heart maketh a cheerful countenance, but the sorrow of heart, the spirit is broken. These two scriptures are just buttressing the point of being joyful, being merry, and also the point I talked about, listening and listening well. Relationships are built on healthy communication. We will talk more about communication in another video. But today, in summary, I have been bringing out various factors that will help us build a healthy relationship with one another. It is important that we learn how to relate healthily. When we are young, in the adolescent phase, in the young adult phase, one of the people that really matter are our peers. And so whether we like it or not, we find out that we end up linking with each other, relating with each other in school, at home, in different forms. And these relationships can make us, they can mar us, or they can unmake us. There are people who have lost their lives, their potentials, their values because of the relationships they have. There are people who have become better people because of the relationships they have. Ability to relate healthily will give you a step ahead, and most importantly, prepare you for proper relationships that end up in dating experiences, courtship, and marriage. When we don't learn the importance of relating healthily, we make mistakes in subsequent relationships that become lifelong covenant relationships. I believe today you have learned something new. And what have we been talking about? The need to relate. Thank you very much for watching this video. Like it if you have enjoyed it, leave a comment, and most importantly, share the video with friends. Subscribe and hit the bell button. Anytime there is a new video, you'll be alerted. Thank you for making the Young and Single series interesting and making it grow. My name is Hannah. I've enjoyed talking to you once again. God bless you.